Hi there, we are Team Mr. Kiplerone and we'd like to welcome you to our co-branding presentation blending Mr. Kipling cakes with Toblerone chocolate bars to make the Mr. Kiplerone product. My name is Mark Lawson.
I'm Elliot Wheeler.
And I'm Divya.
So I'm now going to provide a brief overview about our presentation. I'm first going to talk about what is Mr. Kipling and why we've decided to work with that brand. Then we'll all be discussing Toblerone. Then we'll be talking about what is Mr. Kiplerone, why are we merging these two brands together, and what is the product with ourselves that we want to produce. Then we've got some co-branding justifications, and we're going to talk about the gluten-free market, which is the market that we want to go into. We're going to provide a pest and a SWOT analysis of Mr. Kiplerone. We're going to be doing some perceptual mapping where we think our product would be in terms of quality and price compared to its competitors. We're going to be talking about segmentation, targeting, positioning, branding of the product, the marketing mix. We're also going to be talking about the 4 Ps. And then finally we're going to be talking about potential future developments of the Mr. Kiplerone brand with a conclusion at the end and our references. So Mr. Kipling, it's a company that produces cakes, pies and baked goods, and it markets these products in the UK and Ireland. It was founded in 1967 and it's currently owned by the company Premier Foods. The Mr. Kipling brand has been a market leader since 1976 and still has the UK #1 cake brand title. So obviously you can imagine that they're a very successful cake company in the market, and it just makes sense that we'd work with them. Also, around 60% of UK households purchase Mr. Kipling products every single year, and these products include small cakes, large cakes, pudding slices, pies and tarts and sponge puddings. And the type of product that we're going to be focusing on primarily for Mr. Kiplerone is the small cakes. So, how does Mr. Kipling appeal to its target market? Well, as a company, Mr. Kipling has retained its position as a market leader by constantly updating its product range and also all of its marketing techniques.
Mr. Kipling have used several marketing techniques to attract its target audience, including teaming up with popular show X Factor. They also had a Life is Better with Cake campaign. The company also built the world's first billboard entirely from cakes. And lastly, they have a variety of products around seasons and holidays, including Christmas, Easter and Halloween. Mr. Kipling's has several competitors, including Simple Delicious, Weight Watchers Cake, McVitie's Cakes, Cadbury's and supermarket-owned products, some of which are at a discounted price. In 2014, the UK cake and biscuit market grew by a total of 1.8%, and it's predicted to grow by 9.3% between 2015 and 2016. This shows the great potential that the product has. Mr. Kipling uses a differentiated targeting strategy. This is where they market its products towards different segments. For example, Mr. Kipling's cake slice are advertised as perfect for packed lunches. This could appeal either to adults with children or kids themselves, whereas the traditional larger cakes may appeal to an older demographic.
Now I'm just going to give you a brief overview of Toblerone. Toblerone is a Swiss chocolate company and it's part of the Mondelez Group. Mondelez Group is one of the market leaders in the chocolate industry with a 28% market share. Toblerone itself is a milk chocolate triangular bar with an almond and honey filling. So now I'm just going to give you a little bit more about the business. Its targeting strategy would probably be a concentrated strategy. It's a slightly more expensive chocolate within the market, so it's going to be aimed at middle to upper class individuals over 25. Its main 3 competitors tend to be Lindt, Ferrero Rocher and Ghirardelli. We decided to undertake a SWOT analysis of Toblerone to try and get to grips with the company and understand certain elements a little bit better. For instance, in the strengths, we put down its recognisable packaging. It's a very clear brand. It's quite a unique shape. It makes it stand out within the market. Mondelez, which is the parent company of Toblerone, is the market leader within confectionery, as we mentioned earlier, with 28% market share. Within weaknesses, it is quite an expensive chocolate bar compared to other brands. Opportunities in 2014. The largest growth area was chocolate within confectionery, and we've learned that confectionery sales in the UK are actually estimated to rise by an average of 8.6% by 2019. Finally, in threats, Toblerone's competitors, despite Mondelez being a market leader, there are some very large players within confectionery, such as we said, Cadbury's. So what is Mr. Kiplerone? Mr. Kiplerone is going to be a range of Mr. Kipling cakes, but we're going to sort of rebrand them with Toblerone sort of style packaging and Toblerone flavouring. However, our real sort of USP is going to be that these cakes are all going to be gluten-free to appeal more to a celiac market, because our initial research shows that there wasn't currently a lot on the market for celiacs in the sort of the confectionery cake range. So our targeting, from our research, we thought that women between 25 to 50, due to the slightly more expensive nature of the product, we're aiming for the sort of the higher price end of the market. It's going to be gluten-free, so that the celiacs are going to be our main sort of target market, or middle to upper socio-economic grouping.
So I'm now going to be talking about the co-branding justifications and why we feel that it's a good idea to merge Mr. Kipling with Toblerone to make the Mr. Kiplerone product. So, co-branding. Why would it be good to work with Mr. Kipling and Toblerone? Well, currently, Mr. Kipling doesn't produce any gluten-free products at all. However, all of Toblerone's products are gluten-free. So by collaborating with Toblerone, this will help Mr. Kipling enter the gluten-free market. So another reason why Toblerone will benefit Mr. Kipling is because Toblerone currently has a much higher social media presence than Mr. Kipling. The collaboration with Toblerone will allow Mr. Kipling to increase its online following and potentially increasing customer awareness of its products. And as you can see here, Toblerone currently has 4.5 million Facebook people that have liked their profile, whereas Mr. Kipling only has 167,000.
So Mark has just talked about the co-branding justification, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about the gluten-free market. We want to go into the gluten-free market due to the increase in market share and future potential. The increase in food intolerance are a growing public health concern, causing higher consumer demand of products that are tailored to meet special dietary requirements. The global market for gluten-free product market was valued at $4.63 billion in 2015, and is projected to reach $7.59 billion in 2020.
Now I'm just going to expand a little bit into what the gluten-free market is actually worth. So this graph shows the retail sales of gluten-free products in the United States from 2011 to 2016 in million US dollars. So as we can see here, in 2011, the gluten-free market was only worth $7.3 billion. And now, in 2016, it's worth $15.5 billion. So almost in the space of 5 or 6 years, it has almost doubled. So this just shows the potential of the gluten-free market and how fast it's growing. And this is one of the main reasons we want to go into this segment.
So the pest analysis will allow Mr. Kiplerone to evaluate the environment that they will be launching in. So in terms of political, they have pledged to lower corporation tax from 20% to 18% by 2020. Economics, the UK is the third largest economy in the EU. Social, cultural, new consumer trends, there's been an increase in networking, fitness and food conscious. An increase in fitness role models via social networking. Technology, so advanced technology in the UK increases productivity and profitability. Now we are going to do a SWOT analysis on Mr. Kiplerone. The strengths include tasty treat. Mr. Kipling and Toblerone are a famous brand, customer loyalty and the unique concept. Weaknesses include the new product itself. Consumers may dislike the concept, and also it is quite expensive as we'll be charging a higher price. External opportunities include, as previously, the gluten-free market is growing and there are fewer competitors. External threats include brands who understand the gluten-free market more, economic fluctuations and cheaper products.
So now that we've looked at the gluten-free market, we want to look at where our Mr. Kiplerone cakes will fall in terms of price and quality in comparison to other companies that also produce gluten-free cakes. So we've come up with a perceptual map. So in terms of quality, our Mr. Kiplerone products will be higher than companies such as Lidl, Aldi and Tesco Grocery. In terms of price, because we're producing higher quality cakes than these companies such as Lidl, Aldi and Tesco Grocery, our price is going to be slightly higher. We've also increased our price slightly higher than Mr. Kipling normal cakes just because we've added the gluten-free element, and also we've co-branded with Toblerone. And we're going to keep our price slightly lower than Mrs. Crimble's, Waitrose, Baker Days and Hotel Chocolat.
I'm now going to talk to you about segmentation. Now, segmentation, it falls within sort of 4 main areas on how to segment the market. You have geographically, via demographics, behaviour or psychographics. Geographically, it will be a more sort of urban market due to the fact that our products we're hoping to launch throughout large supermarket brands. For our demographic, as we mentioned earlier, we're going to target the upper social economic model and women between the age of 25 to 50. From a behavioural perspective, gluten-free is our USP, and that's the market we're sort of really pushing home, and that's our primary market. Finally, psychographic, it's going to be the lifestyle choice based on the need to be gluten-free, and we're hoping to appeal to the more high-end consumer who will prefer sort of a higher quality product with perhaps already an established brand in place.
So targeting is the process of choosing which market segments to approach with a product offering. We will be using a concentrated strategy, developing a new niche for customers, targeting women aged 25 to 50 who are gluten intolerant. We believe that this is a more effective strategy than differentiated strategy, as it will allow us to concentrate and provide a tailored marketing mix to our customers.
So I'm now going to talk about how we're going to position Mr. Kiplerone. So what do we want our consumers to think about our product? Well, we want them to think that it's a fun and unique twist on the traditional Mr. Kipling cakes. Also, we want them to know that it's the first Toblerone flavoured cakes, so hopefully they'll find that exciting and new. It's a gluten-free tasty treat. Often when it comes to gluten-free products, they don't taste as nice as the ones without gluten. With gluten in. So we want them to know that even though we're gluten-free, it's still going to be a really tasty product that they can enjoy. And to make sure that they realise that we've got a fun product, we've come up with the catchphrase that it's a truly unique, gluten-free treat you'll be mad not to eat.
Branding is obviously a really important part of any sort of marketing strategy. Firstly, the logo we decided to create is a combination of both brands' previous existing logos, and we find it comes across quite distinctive with the outline and beginning of Mr. Kipling, and then Toblerone sort of bold and strong lettering. I thought that worked really well. It relies on our USP of being gluten-free. That is really a core value to this product. We're relying on existing brand loyalty, but these are both long-established brands within the confectionery and cake market, respectively, and as such, it already has a strong consumer following that was seen by its following on social media and its sales and things. So we're hoping that their loyalty to their brands will entice them to try our Mr. Kiplerone. And finally, it needs to be both emotive and appeal to the customers' wants and desires, while remaining as a functional marketing tool. Now we come on to the marketing mix. The marketing mix is a core theme within marketing and is an important area to discuss. The 4 Ps are product, place, promotion and price.
We will now be talking about the 4 Ps, and promotion is the first one. Promotion is the various ways an organisation attempts to communicate its target audience. We will be communicating with our target audience via direct communication, so directly talking to our audience, and push and pull strategies.
Now we're going to talk to you about some potential advertising. We decided to not take a mass marketing approach due to the niche nature of our product, so we spent some time researching into the gluten-free environment and what's available out there in terms of advertising, and here we have some potential magazines and websites and things where we can advertise our products, which will straight away reach our intended audience, especially our female targeted 25 to 50. We found research indicated that magazines appeal especially to women and within this age range, so we thought this will be effective.
So another way that we're going to promote our product is through trade shows and personal selling. So there are 3 main trade shows that we want to go to. We're going to have a stall there where we'll be giving out free samples to our demographics, and we'll try and encourage them to talk about it to their friends and just get the word out.
Another technique that we want to use is social media. Our target audience are mums and wives who are in the age bracket of 25 to 50. We've decided to use social media such as Facebook, as we found that 51% of female Facebook users are aged 25 to 54. We'll be advertising our product using Facebook banners.
While social media is great for advertising to our market, we think that one of the best ways to promote our products to our 25 to 50-year-old female gluten-free demographic is through the traditional TV advertisement techniques. And we thought that something that would get people to enjoy the product is by having celebrity cameos that match our demographic. At the end of the day, people want to be like the people they look up to, like the celebrities. So if they see these celebrities eating our Mr. Kiplerone product, they may want to do the same. Also, our advertisements will appear after the popular daytime shows, such as Loose Women, Lorraine, and This Morning, because that's when our target audience will be watching TV. And we could also use product placement techniques in cooking shows such as The Great British Bake Off and Come Down With Me. We also need to think about the way in which our advertisements and the way we put ourselves out there will be perceived by our audience so that they eventually want to buy our Mr. Kiplerone cakes. So we've used the ADA model to think about the cognitive, affective and behavioural effects that our promotion will have on the consumers.
Now we would like to talk to you about another element of the 4 Ps, product. Product is the most tangible of the 4 Ps, and as it's the physical product itself. In terms of packaging of the product, we're intending to use the existing packaging from Mr. Kipling, but rebrand it in more Toblerone like colours, with our new Mr. Kiplerone logo.
So Elliot has just talked about product, and I'm going to go a little bit into the 4 product levels of our Mr. Kiplerone cakes. So there's a lot more to a product than just the product itself. There's a core level, a tangible level, an augmented, and then a potential product level.
A product life cycle has 4 main areas. It has the introduction phase, where you first see the product arrive on the market. You have growth, where the product will see increases in sales and therefore market share. Maturity, where the product will reach its highest levels of revenue and maximum sales. And finally decline, where it begins to lose market share and needs potential innovation. In terms of Mr. Kiplerone, we believe that the introduction stage is going to be the most expensive. It'll be a new product, so it will need higher startup costs and more money spent on promotional activities than say later on in its life. At our maturity stage, looking at the Toblerone range, we believe there's a lot of potential for diversifying the product.
I'll be now talking about place. Our distribution channels will be business to business, so selling our products to retailers who will go on and sell it to the final customers. Intensive distribution, we'll be selling our products to supermarkets including Tesco, Asda, Sainsbury's and Morrison's.
So the final element of the 4 Ps that we're going to be talking about is price. So the average price for Mr. Kipling small cake slices tends to be between £1 and £2.50. And for a normal Toblerone bar, they tend to retail at about £3. So blending these 2 prices and also increasing it slightly because of the gluten-free element, we're going to be charging around £2.50 to £3.50 for our Mr. Kiplerone small cakes. The pricing strategy that we're going to be going for is skimming. So we're going to set the price rather high. As mentioned, it'd be between £2.50 to £3.50. However, there'll be some consumers who may consider this price too high, so then we would eventually lower the cost when the demand starts to fall to pull more consumers in.
Previously, we spoke about the product life cycle, and we have decided that when the product begins to decline, we will bring in new developments. For example, online healthy recipes, including cookies and brownies, smoothies and flapjacks. Also introducing new flavours, including Mr. Kiplerone's flavoured wells, Mr. Kiplerone's chocolate chip cakes and Mr. Kiplerone's puddings.
So I'm now going to summarise our presentation with our final thoughts. So we feel that by blending Mr. Kipling and Toblerone, 2 companies that have never worked together, we've come up with a fantastic brand of Mr. Kiplerone, and we've created a truly unique product of gluten-free cakes which are targeted towards the 25 to 50-year-old female demographic. So we want to thank you very much for watching our presentation on Mr. Kiplerone, and here are just our references. Thank you very much.